Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to Online Study for You, a complete placement solution. So, guys, today we have like TCS NQT interview question sets with us. That is, today morning, one of our student had attended the TCS NQT interview. So he have shared the questions that he faced it just a few hours ago, like he was in the morning slot. So let's discuss what are the questions, the answers, and what are the probable questions that may come up for you if you are candidate to appear for the interview for the same. Okay, so before moving on to the actual questions that he faced, I would like to remind you the three topics which is very important if you are preparing for the interview. It is not about the TCS, it's not about the Wipro, it's not about the Infosys, Cognizant, Accenture, whatever. It's for all the interviews which is applicable for the freshers. If you're ready with these three topics, then you have done like completely like 50 to 60% of your interview preparation is completely done. Okay, so that's it. So what is that actually? So introduce yourself. You will ever, first of all the question will be like maybe some will be asking how are you, how do you do, and everything, and after that the first most question will be introduce yourself. So make sure you have a brief introduction of yourself. It should be like around 1 to 2 minutes. It should not take too long, but it should not be too short. It doesn't mean that if you're shortening it, it doesn't mean that some of the information should be skipped. You have to include everything, just a touch up or intro part to all of the things that you have received in the resume. So introduction part, you can just go, it can be your name, then your graduation, your skill set, strengths, then hobbies, concluding with that. This is the kind of flow for your introductory part. Okay, so that's it. Now keep it short and brief and touch up all the points in the resume. Then questions from skills and project mentioned in the resume. That is mandatory. If you have mentioned something in the resume, then you should know about it. And we have witnessed so much of students by during giving these mock interview preparation to some of the students as a part of the course. We have witnessed that most of them will be building up the resume with all the probable courses which has appeared in the syllabus or which they have heard of. But if you ask some basic questions regarding that, they will used to go blank on that. So this should not happen with you. Okay, if you are including something in the resume, have a basic knowledge on that. And if you're not, if you don't have the knowledge, just try to remove that. Okay, it doesn't mean that having a long list of technical skill would give you a good impression. Just imagine you have so many things in the resume, but you don't get to answer any of the things, and that is going to give a very bad impression on you. Okay, so make sure you have any something that is known to you. And next is the behavioral questions to check your adaptability. Okay, so you are a fresher, you had getting into an industry for the first time, and how you're a team player and how you are good at individual contribution. Everything is must be known to them. So for that, they will throw some questions which is related to that, and will look your adaptability. Okay, so that's about the behavioral questions. So these, if you are ready with these three topics, if you're ready to shoot at any time with the answers, then you have done completely like 50 to 60% of your preparation, interview preparations are done completely. And only remaining is some kind of questions that you have to brush up from the syllabus or something that you have learned. Okay, so now getting into the interview questions that he have faced. So every rounds was combined together, just one after the other. Every questions came up, and it was like 20 to 25 minutes around, a duration in which the interview took care of. Now, technical questions. So obviously, if you're a computer science student or a non-computer science student, you are getting into an IT company, you are getting into some profile related to the computer science. So definitely you can expect, technical questions for sure. Okay, in most of our videos, we used to get comments like, we are from non-computer science department. Just tell the interview process for us. What are the questions that they can ask you? Everything will be same itself. So when it comes to the project, if you have taken care of some computer science related projects, then you might be getting related to that. And some of the non-computer science students may not be taking computer science related projects. So for them, they don't have anything to ask related to the computer science from their project. So that part alone will be getting skipped. But in the technical question, even if they didn't got some inner thing, but you need to mention something related to the computer science in your resume to get into IT sector for sure. Okay, that's obvious. So from that, you will get technical questions for sure. Okay, so don't think that I'm a non-computer science student, so I can get into IT sector even with my syllabus and knowledge or whatever with my graduation. No, 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 a big no. If you are getting into an IT company, an IT sector, you must have some basic knowledge on the same. Okay, that's it. Now, the technical question that he have faced was difference between C and C++. So this is a valid question, and it's a silly question as well, I could say, because this question will never comes repeated when you during your graduation, but it do comes at the initial stages when you start to learn about what is computer science, what is the programming languages, and everything. Okay. So C and C++, what is the difference between that? Okay, it's a task for you. Just find it out and know about it more. There's a lot more to read, and every points are, very important. So keep it with you. Okay, so that's between one of the question. And next is, what are acid properties? You know about the acid properties, right? It's for the security purpose, everything what this properties helps a lot. So it's like atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. So these answers are very simple, so I included in that. So acid properties, that is one of them. So similarly, we have so much things similar to that, so we can go for that as well. And difference between object oriented and procedural languages with example. Okay, so object oriented and the procedural languages are very basic things, difference between C and C++, and these questions are very basic kind of questions, which a computer science student or a normal computer science, whoever getting into an IT sector must know. It's like, learning ABCD just to, before you learning up the sentence formation. Okay, it's a foundation thing. So that is very important. So here I have some of the points for that same. So object-oriented programming, it's divided the objects in objects. I mean, small parts is an object, and procedural programming will be divided that all into functions. Okay, that's the difference. And bottom-up approach is an object-oriented programming. And here it's top-down approach. Then C++, Java, Python are some of the examples. And coming to procedure, it's C, Fortran, etc. So when coming to these many things, I would like to recommend that as not only these points you can include, there are so much other valid points like advantages or disadvantages and so many like that. So even you can go for that as well. So you just keep like these kind of questions, you just keep it like 3 to 4 points with you to answer the same. Okay, so you must have something knowledge to answer these questions. Now next is types of database languages. If you have mentioned like database knowledge on that, something related to that SQL or MySQL, those kind of database related technical skills, then you can expect this question, because not only in the stages I have heard this question asked to many of the freshers in many companies. So you can just imagine the validity of this question. And also one more important thing, that is, if you don't know what is DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, like if you don't know the definition for that, or if you don't know like what is the functions of that and how that works and everything, you don't have to pretend like you know them. Okay, like they have asked types of database languages, and if you know like DDL and DML, but you don't know DCL and TCL, but you want to say this too, so you said what is DL and DML, and DCL and TCL you just left it out. So what impression is getting is you have the partial knowledge. Okay, so don't go for that. If you know something half, then what you have to do is you can just name them: DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL are the types of database languages. Cut it off, done. If the interview won't ask you more, then you can go for the answers. Like if you know, you can respond it. If you don't know, like you can just give like, okay, I have the partial answers for that, can I revert to something like that, something very polite for that. Okay, so this is how you have to respond for the same. And one more thing is that when you go for the database languages, don't go for this abbreviations alone. Like once you answer, don't go like DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. Just go for the definition, like data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, something like that. Okay, just go like that. That's how you have to do it. This is not about this alone. If you are going for anything, if there is some abbreviations for that, just go for the full forms. Don't keep it short. Now, next questions that he have faced is the difference between SQL and MySQL. So can you just imagine, like, these questions and these questions that they have asked is very basic, but it's a kind of, tricky. Not tricky in the sense you might not be looking at these kind of questions at all, but this is the level of thesis and QT interviews that's happening right now. So you need to accept it if you want to get the job. So prepare for the best, that's only we can do. So here SQL and MySQL. So he have mentioned like SQL and MySQL. This happens with most of our resumes. Even I have did it. SQL and MySQL, we'll be mentioning it different. Yeah, it's a kind of different things for sure. So if you're mentioning it different, you must know the difference between SQL and MySQL. Until you don't know, it doesn't do means that you don't know SQL and MySQL. And what's the point of adding it in the resume? Yeah, you have to think about it. So what is the difference between SQL and MySQL? So I have given like standard difference between that. You can just Google it yourself and find much more defined version for the definition. And here it is. SQL stands for standard, query language. It's a standard language and is a core of a relational database used for accessing and managing databases. And MySQL will be the database management system. It is in RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. It's a management system and it's a standard language. Okay, if you just Google it, you'll get much more better answers for that, which will help you to memorize things more. But this is the basic. Try to include this answer along with the further answers that you are going to search by yourself. Okay. So these are the technical questions that he have came up, like directly. And next he came across the project questions from the project. So briefing on projects is what they ask. Either they can ask go like what is the programming languages, what are the technical aspects of your project. They can go like this, but most probably most of the project, and he here also face something like tell about your project. So this is a very basic question that you can get about your project. So what you have to concentrate upon is you have to give an overview of the idea. What is the project actually? What are the functions that you have used? What is this working? What is that? Okay, what is that into? For example, if it is an app, it's a kind of, if it is a Zomato app, what it's for ordering the food and we can get all these things. So something like that, you have to mention the basic functionalities. Okay, so that is an idea. It's just an example, guys. And next is the technical aspects. Technical aspects in the sense you will be using programming languages to develop. You will be using some sort of database to hold the data, and for the functioning, sometimes GPS and whatever, right? So make sure that you know all of the technical aspects, like basics of them, which all the modules or which all the functions that you have used in this. So that on that. So you can just tell like this is the functions and this is the working of our application. If it is an app, then if you have anything else, okay, that. And after that, technically, we have used these many programming languages and database is connected by this. And for this function, we included this part. Okay, so this is one of the way. If you have did some software related projects, and if you are did some projects that is completely different from software, then you can go like this is our project and this is it's working, and we have used these and these functions, or these and these. If it is electronics, you can use these many things, and if it's mechanical, these many things, something like that. Okay, so make it to the brief. Just conclude it within like tell me about yourself itself. Conclude it like 1 minute or 1.5 minutes around that time. Now, so here his project was in Java. So he had, couple of Java questions as a follow-up question. So it was OOPS concept. Like OOPS concept is a mandatory question when it comes to Java. Okay, if you are did a project in Java, then this comes. If you are added Java in your resume, then this comes. And if you just say, some of the interview would ask, like, can you just tell me which of the technical skill you are strong at? So if you mention Java, then this comes. Okay, so whatever it is, object-oriented programming concepts do comes. Okay, so what are the different ways that they can ask object-oriented programmers? What are the pillars? Then they'll take something specific like abstraction. What is that? Encapsulation, how that works, and inheritance, how we can employ it. And if you're a software project, then he'll be having some idea like how that works, right? So how do you include it, or what all the object-oriented concept that you have included, and how do you include it with that? So we can go for that kind of questions. So obviously, ops concept is a kind of mandatory question that you can ever get. So be prepared with that. Okay. Now, what are the packages? What is called the packages in Java, like it's for importing and all that things we can mention. What are different kind of packages? If you have a very well-known idea on the same, just give it. Okay. So here in the project, as he have, I even asked him like, what is the project questions that you got, to answer this thing. briefing on project. So he was very confident in his project and explained it very well. So even I got an impression that he know very well on the project. So I didn't feel like asking more what is the technical aspects and whatever, like a normal, just to know what is this project. So he gave the perfect idea of what is the project at all. So this is what you have to give to the interviewer as well. So there are two instances where he can just shoot you with questions. One is that if you didn't give the proper briefing or proper description of your project or whatever, so he'll be having like half information, or he won't be having that clarity with you. So he'll ask more, like what is it, to get the perfect picture on the scene. And the another instance is if he is very curious about the projects coming, innovations. There are so much people who do love innovations and something like that. So these two instances. Okay, so only one thing that we can assure you, if you're very good, if you explained it well, and if you just gave a brief picture on the project, then obviously the interviewer will try to cut short the further question, digging onto the like project. They'll just ask some basic questions like this, like oops concept and what are the packages, something related to the like the things, program languages, what all things you have implemented. Okay, so that's about the project question that he have faced right now. And next he faced about the HR round. So HR round, it always used to come at the end, and it is just to check your adaptability and how you are at behaving things as a team member, as an individual contributor, and everything. How is good your communication and everything. So communication is not checked around in HR itself. It's been observed or monitored since you say hi sir. From that, okay, from that extent, it's being monitored. So make sure you have a very good very good communication throughout. If you don't know, if you're not very good at English too, it's completely fine. But the politeness or the way you deliver the words do matters more than the fluency of your English. Okay, so that's it. Now HR round. So HR round, one of the relevant question that you can ever get from TCS is why TCS? Because they'll ask like there are so much multinational companies which will pay higher than this, then why do you got into TCS alone? Yes, TCS do pay, and average, I mean it's a good pay actually, but still they will ask, you'll get much more opportunities than why TCS. So one thing that you have to do is you have to trust upon main of the factors that is helping you for the learning purpose. Okay, I'll make much more clear. That is, you should not say like, okay, TCS is providing this package, TCS is an Indian company, TCS is good for the work from home, TCS is like that. You should not tell that. Rather, you should go for something like TCS is a very good, I mean, like a fresher, it's a very good opportunity to start your career with. You'll get to learn of the things and the projects that TCS is handling and everything, something like that. You can just tell positively, promoting the learning platform that TCS is providing to every freshers. So this is the point that you have to mainly focus up on. Okay, so apart from that, don't negotiate the salary. Don't say it is it is very free when coming to work-life balance, everything. Just don't go for that. Okay, just go for that. Studies, learning purpose, learning is very good here. And also, if you want to go for higher studies, the work-life balance is completely fine, something like that. So being a fresher, only thing that you can just express is that the thirst to learn things. Okay, it's not about TCS alone, it's common to any of the companies. When you are a refresher, probably when you're experienced we can just use this. Okay, so that's it. And next is, are you ready to relocate? So you definitely have to say yes to this question, because then only you will get the job, to be frank, because they want someone who's ready to work in any location. Like if you just, after all this spending this half an hour of that interviewer, he's a working guy, right? So spending the time getting your data process, and after that you are rejecting the job, then it's lost for them, like it's a time waste for them. So if you are ready to go for that, then they'll just include, if everything is fine, they just include it to the selected category. Else with this question, so they can just exclude you. Okay, so that is, you have to go for that. And now, what was your role in your project team? So this is a relevant question actually. So I would give you a single tip that if you are, if you're not even as active participant of your project team, still you can just say like I was a team lead, or I was assisting the team lead, or I can say that I was the one who coordinates every work and I just participated in this programming type according to the job role. If it is a software engineer role, you can just tell like I was the one who just participated in this, coding side. And if it is something like a testing system engineers or something like that, you can even say the coding, I have participated in the coding. Or if you're not very sure about coding things, they may ask something related to the coding developing. So if you're not very good at developing, then you can just say like I was the one who just tested it, something like that. Okay, according to the job role, you must be able to configure yourself, your answers, everything with it. Okay, so this is the answer for that. And now the relevant question, that is any two strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so this is actually a very interesting question. Like what they want to hear is your weakness, one of your genuine weakness, and how you overcome that weakness with the strengths that you have. Okay, so this is what they want to hear. So you could, like, I would recommend you to give something related. Like if you just say like one's weaknesses which is another and strength which is not related, then that doesn't create a good impression. So you can go like weakness one. For example, I can say you are a kind of person who is torture yourself to work, or like a workaholic kind of person. If I couldn't complete something, or if some deadlines are up, I do take extra time and I would choose to complete it, something like that. So that have created so much torturing to myself, my body and everything. But I would like to, if I got some job, I will complete it at any cost, something you can just tell that. And also the strengths will be, since I am having this weakness, I used to focus upon prioritizing things or organizing things, so that I don't I don't get uh, procrastinating, getting postponed often. So this is how you have to do. So here what you actually did is you just said you have this weakness honestly, and you're covering up that with your strengths, and you are developing a strength that to cover up the weakness. Okay, so this is your basic nature. So they'll get to know that if you just make some mistakes too, you will do something to cover up that. That will definitely, ignore this complete destruction that you have caused. So this is how you have to answer to any two strengths and weaknesses. So whenever, keep in mind, it's not about two, it can be three, it can be four, it can be five, whatever. So whenever strengths and weaknesses come together, then this is what they are looking forward in you. They're just tricking you. Okay, so make sure you answer in this way. Now, another is you have a lot of backlogs in the work. It's they're giving a kind of situation to handle. It's just to assess your like behavioral aspects. So you have a lot of backlogs in work. Some new assignments came up. How will you manage them? Okay, so that is you already have some work and it's a kind of pending. It can be issues related to you, or it can be some other external issues, but something is getting pending. But here on the way, some new assignments came. So either you have plenty of options, like you can accept it and you can mess both of them, or you can accept it and try to finish the backlogs at the earliest, then complete this assignments, or you can accept it and you can reject it. So these are the options available. So positively, two ways that I can suggest to you is, one is you can just tell him, or give the information that is, I have already backlogs, so I don't want to make the same with this, so I better complete my backlogs. And if still I have deadlines to complete the emergency, I mean the new assignments that is coming up, I'll try to complete. Like that, you can just say no indirectly to the new assignments coming up, just to keep your backlogs done. And the other option is you can just check the new assignments deadlines. If it is coinciding, like backlogs, and this is coinciding, there is no way you can complete it, right? So you can just go like that. Else you can just say, if it is you have time to complete both of them, then you can accept it and you can just backlogs, I'll try at the earliest, and for this new assignment there is time till that, before that I'll complete. So these ways you can answer it yourself. Okay, so everything is just to check your things. It is not like they want you to get a lot of work done. Obviously IT sector is about work only, but what they are looking forward in this interview things is whether are you ready to take up anything at any moment. Okay, so that's about the whole interview process that he have faced during his interview scheduled. So all the questions was very, very basic, which is even we don't think about that, right? All the technical kind of questions. Most of the questions, we don't even think that portions of technical things. But this is the reality. Like, something that we forget is often coming up. So you have to very strong at your foundation wherever you go. So make sure you have all these things. And HR round is all about behavioral, and don't ever think that if you answer all the technical and like answers, and if you couldn't answer any of the HR rounds, still you will get a job. I am technically good, so it's very good to get into IT sector. There is nothing like that. You have to do 50-50 at least HR round and the technical round. At least the interviewer should think that okay, he don't know the answer, but he's ready to learn, something like that. It's not mandatory to attend all the questions, give all right answers to all the questions, but how do you respond to that? That's very important. Okay, so if you just could answer like 2 to 3 questions, it's fine, completely okay. But how you respond to the questions that you don't know, and how do you respond to the questions that you know, is important thing. Okay, so I think all the things that I've explained in this video is pretty much clear to you. So everyone who's watching this video before your interview, please make sure that you prepare a lot with the perfect to-do list that you're having. These many things I have to prepare, these many things I'll cover, like that. You make a list before you start preparing and then do it. Then you will cover everything. And once you cover all the things that you can do, is be confident enough to appear for the same. Don't doubt yourself, like whether I'll be able to do, whether I'll get the answers in my head at the time when he asks. There is nothing like that. If you're prepared, then you will do well. Just keep that faith in yourself and appear. Don't be nervous. That is also an important factor. Okay, so that's all, guys, and all the best who are watching this video before going for an interview. You will definitely do very, very well. Don't worry, don't get nervous. Okay, so if you have any further doubts regarding any of the things that I've mentioned in this video, please do mention in the comment section, and also suggestions regarding the video content, well welcomed in the comment section. So until I come up again, everybody stay safe, stay happy, and stay tuned to Online Study for You.